So one of kind of my guilty pleasures, and it might be because I'm an 80s kid, is the game Tetris. So as an engineer, I always love puzzles. I love stuff like that. I've always kind of been into that kind of thing. I find it really enjoyable. One of the things that I kind of realized is that when you work for yourself, or to be honest, in most businesses, but especially if you're like a freelancer, why it's so important. If you don't know the game, essentially, you have I don't even know what they call it, a level, I think it's technically what it's called. So basically it's the amount of stuff that you have to do. And then with the game Tetris, you have different shapes. So you have tall, thin ones, you have the squares, they have 4, you have the weird L-shaped ones, which have 1, 2, 3, 4. What's the other one? Oh, the L shape. And what I thought was really funny is actually that when you work for yourself, when I do my management consulting kind of stuff, this is your week. And then your days are here. And then what's quite funny is you kind of go through your week, different stuff lands, and it's your job to kind of do it. So as you go through your week, big job turns up. Okay, I'll fit that in. And then it's actually your job as a freelancer that when you have multiple different clients, so these could actually be client 1, client 2, client 3, client 4. And actually I'm going to throw in a 5th client, which is just one square on its own, which could be like your own stuff. And essentially your job as a freelancer is, as these blocks start to fall, it's looking at how do you fit them into your diary so that actually you can be full every day, not burn out, but actually not have things build up. Because one of the classic problems that anyone has when you work for yourself is that if you've got no work coming in, that you've got plenty of time, but you're not making any money. But actually the busier you get, the more efficient you need to be, that as these blocks start coming down, I always put the long thin ones on the left. It's to actually balance, how do you start to move stuff in to fit your diary in, so that actually the idea is that you can build your week, your time, your month, to get the most efficient use of your time, where actually what you want to do is fill each level, then they disappear and it goes through. And it was a really funny analogy that actually when work lands for me or for a lot of other people, it's either a really big chunky job that takes a ton of time, or it's a really quick one, or it's one that's quite difficult to deal with and you have to kind of figure out what you want to do next, or it's a little tiny thing. And the trick is, if you can find really good utilization of your time, find what works for you, that you might choose to do all your big chunky jobs first thing in the morning. Although from experience, what people often do is leave that till last because they kind of want to. But it was just that simple analogy that as new work comes in the top, it's your job to kind of figure out how you want to gobble it up and how you want to fit it all in. And actually all of the work comes in different shapes and sizes. Some of it are really small, quick jobs that you can just fit in and do whatever. And some of it is really big, ugly, difficult, challenging stuff that takes a lot more time. And the trick basically is for any freelancer or business owner is to find a range of different clients and a range of different products and service offerings, which all pay you money, which allow you to get paid. But actually you can slot things in to really have a very efficient business. That if you only try to build your business on really big chunky jobs, so the big squares, you're going to have a lot of gaps where actually that might land today and then another one doesn't land for 2 weeks. And it's all that wasted time that you don't have. What you want is a whole ecosystem of products and services and offers that people might get in touch to get you to do a 1-hour job, which could be a one little square that fits in. And just find a really good way to get efficient with your time to gobble up all of this work. But just think of it like Tetris. Think of all your clients as different kind of shaped blocks. And your job is to try and fit them in the best you can. It's never going to be perfect. Never worry if things start to build up. But just take your time and work through it. And it was just something interesting I wanted to kind of talk about just on kind of today's stream.